Patience is a virtue, they say. That fucking beeping drives me goddamn nuts. Do what?
Like you can get guns pretty easily. Where? Colorado. Oh yeah. Colorado.
Dude, I made a gun that is sitting in Nebraska. It's an AR-15 that I made, and it's illegal as fuck, and I've been trying to turn it in.
Oh, where is it?
Nebraska, just north of Colorado. Yeah, it's 8 miles north of the Colorado border.
Why don't you go back there?
Well, first of all, because I don't like fucking gun-toting assholes who don't believe in the First Amendment for anybody but them. Second of all, I don't believe that it's okay to protect child molesters and fucking victimize their victims. Fuck that goddamn place. They protected Robert Franklin Warnick when he was my fucking assailant. Fuck that piece of shit. He is a registered fucking sex offender, and people treat me like I'm a fucking chimo. It's fucking bullshit. Why? Because I'm not pretty.
Because you're not what?
I'm not pretty. You know, pretty girls and pretty boys get all the attention.
Good looking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean the rest of us ain't people, and we shouldn't be expected to provide everything for just the people who benefit. Not just pretty people, but also there's the nastily rich people.
Yeah.
Inherited wealth is a plague on all of us.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to inherit not wealth.
Property, that is wealth.
Eventually, I mean, shit. Everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people inherit something, even when they don't think they're going to.
Yeah, I'm not going to depend on that. I ended up with $12,000 all thrown on me all at once. And you know when that happened? Right after I had to do something desperate because I didn't have enough money to fucking live on. And I couldn't go to the grocery store without having to deal with predators coming at me in Chapel, Nebraska. People I knew and never did nothing wrong to. But you know what? I got them back. I recorded those pieces of shit and posted them on the internet. Fuck you. You gonna fucking tell me one thing but not come forward? You gonna fucking play me for a goddamn fool for my measly $800 a month and fucking disability? I hope those people turn their lights on. The car there, the one that just put on their brakes, getting ready to turn right out of the grocery outlet parking lot. Not the one in the front, but the one behind them. They got them on now, yeah. Well, they probably think I'm out here dealing drugs because pretty much everybody who stops is people who are addicts. And then I got them fucking kids that, they're assholes, man.
Yeah.
I don't know which ones exactly, but I do have some of them in specific recorded pulling shit on me at the library. The thing is, I got to try to find somebody to help me turn that in, and the cops.
How do you turn it in?
Do what?
You have to. What do you mean turn in?
Well, they're gonna. One of the things they always do. There's a certain route that you have to go, and instead of telling me why don't I just go here and why don't I just go there, the problem isn't not going anywhere. The problem is having to go in alone.
Yeah.
96% of those killed by police every year are men. So instead of just teaching black boys that they can't run away from the police because the police will shoot them, we need to teach men in general, you cannot run from the cops, they will fucking blast you. BLM will give you shit and make sure that it's on TV if you're black and in a house, but if you're black on the streets, they don't even give a fuck. Sorry.
Look at this guy. He's got like. Bullshit.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of kids over there in flashy lights and stuff. Oh, as long as they're not fucking mean or cool or fucking cruising around and calling fucking racist bullshit like they were last year. There's some of them that are nice and there's some of them that ain't. That group's probably got a mix of.
See that?
Yeah, I do.
Something about wacky waving the hold on for a few minutes. Oh. Oh.
Oh, I used to be so good at that. Oh, Jesus. Fuck.
Oh.
On the bright side, did you see me being fancy for a couple of seconds?
Yeah.
Oh, I had good manual dexterity. It was easy to lose here.
Oh, shit.
Right? That's the problem with it coming apart.
Are you okay?
And also I have problems with my wrist here.
Yeah.
And also with like these two fingers right now. But yeah, I'm used to getting hit in the head, so it ain't no big thing.
Yeah. It's okay.
I totally just did that. The other thing is, I'm not sure if you noticed this, I don't get embarrassed about it.
Yeah, you're good. I want to go sit down. I'm tired.
I know there's some benches over there. Give me just a minute, I'll walk over. Oh my God. Pretending like I'm 20 years old and still practice every day. No, that ain't me. I practice martial arts and I practiced a lot. That's because my older brother like beat me up, and if I didn't practice, he beat me up more. In Washington State, we had bamboo in our backyard. We were in an apartment complex, and there was a little stream that went through. My older brother was a fucking douchebag, though. I'm not kidding. Everywhere that I ever went until I moved to Boulder, Colorado, being my older brother's brother resulted in me getting beat up a lot. He really liked hurting people, and I really fucking hated it. Since he really liked hurting people, he practiced hurting people, thought about hurting people, trained in hurting people, dreamt about hurting people, and when he got the opportunity to hurt people, he hurt people. But it's not the violent people. Kind of like alcoholics. A lot of times, when an alcoholic gets into an accident with other people, the alcoholic ends up being more likely to survive because they are limp. With my older brother, he didn't stop to think about the consequences for others. He just never did. He didn't stop to think about the consequences of him being a jerk to people and trying to show what a big belly badass he was. He didn't stop to think that after he beat up 5 or 10 different people, sometimes they'd come and beat me up. If they beat me up, he'd just watch. That's all he'd do. There was a couple of times where I was getting assaulted by multiple assailants. My brother did step in then. Sometimes if it was somebody about my size or a little bigger, he'd make sure it was just one-on-one. I gotta get out and take a walk. This sucks. Oh my God. Stretch you out a little bit. Oh, Jesus. There's about 20 vehicles over there, actually. Well, show it to you. Oh, that's not it. Alright. Oh, come on. There we go. Whole bunch of them down there. I guess it's not focusing well, but kind of like Chapel, Nebraska. People, especially youngins, they do the same thing, except they do so on the parking lot of the Chapel High School. This ain't really where I want to be, obviously. If I am here, though, I'm going to keep my environment as safe as I can just because I'm there. If I don't keep my environment safe for others, then I'm also making it unsafe for me by not doing anything. When people are violent or I hear a woman scream, usually the first thing I do is get out of my vehicle and turn on my camera. And being patient is always important, right? Well, not always. When somebody has just been abused, just been assaulted, just been raped, that is the most important time to do something then and there. A lot of people can't just stop their jobs. Their boss isn't going to try to understand. But that's why we have mandated reporters. The problem is the mandated reporters don't do their jobs anymore. We've made laws that protect institutions, not...
No, look at that.
Do what?
Turn the lights on and off.
Oh my God, I just died and went to hell. Hello, operator. Alright, that one's a Newport. I don't want to smoke that. Somebody will accuse me of being a racist. Oh my God, you see that? God, it's not often that I say this, but this is longer and wider than my people. Just kidding.
Positive mental attitude. That guy dominates all day long.
Sure.
What I'm talking about right there.
Well, you know what? Some people think that saying pretty means and pretty sayings is a positive mental attitude. It's not. It's a can-do attitude. For me, having hope doesn't come from people giving me bullshit about what they might do. For me, it's about actually doing it.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, oh, Sean, you're always negative. I'm like, I'm not negative. I know what it takes to change things. People working together.
Yeah.
When your friend is being victimized, do you give a shit, or are you going to say, oh, I have too much going on before you even know what's going on?
Yeah.
If you're that kind of friend, you ain't a friend. That's a fair weather friend. If your friends are only people that you keep around and hang on to because someday you might want something, they're not your friends.
Right. Exactly.
I started treating my friends the way that they treated me instead of treating them the way that I wanted to be treated, because no matter how much I treated them how I wanted to be treated, they still treated me like I was a fucking carpet.
Yeah, it sucks because like in this area, there's a lot of issues with like women and like dating, and they started out fine. Like there weren't that many, but then it's like once a man and a woman have, you know, like get pressured or whatever, like a guy gets laid, you know, it's like that doesn't necessarily mean that they give a shit. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing that happens. It's happened all, happens all the time, but like
The pretty people.
in the area. So it's like then you
Not
have
just
women
in this area.
running around getting bad attitudes and shit because they think that it's all about. I don't really know.
We teach different gender roles to men and women, and
explain
also
it.
different gender bias and different gender expectations.
Yeah.
When a woman is helping a man, she is expected to help him differently. when a woman interacts with a man, it is a lot different than it generally is between a woman and a woman or a man and a man.
Right.
When you go on a man's construction site and it's all men, people are pretty straightforward and to the point, and there's no time to fuck around except on your 15-minute break and on your lunch hour. Other than that, you're too busy working, and it's all dangerous shit. It's all stuff that could kill you or somebody else. If you are carrying just one 2x4 and you go around a corner, you smack somebody in the temple at the far end of it, that's a lot of momentum and a lot of speed. It's just this right here to you. But at the other end, that's a hell of a fulcrum.
Yeah.
And, when we interact as men, we interact in ways that stereotypically we're supposed to just talk. Yeah,
sure.
sure.
You want me to get you some cardboard?
No, you're good. Stereotypically, we're supposed to get together and just talk about vaginas, right?
Yeah.
Well, how often do you actually sit down with a bunch of dudes and actually talk about vaginas?
I don't like talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Most of the guys that I know, we have very intelligent human conversations, and it's usually that good-looking dickhead who thinks he's the shit, who wants to show up.
Dickhead, I got a good look at this guy.
That ain't none of my concern. But that guy usually shows up, and he's talking about anatomy, and that's what he's focused on, and that's, And then you got that little nerd who doesn't get any attention whatsoever. He's picked on by that dude incessantly whenever that guy shows up. So you got this nerd who wants to get laid, and he won't shut up about getting fucking laid either. But one of them's going to get laid and come and tell you all about it. He's going to tell you about fucking your sister. He's going to tell you about fucking your cousin.
Yeah.
He's going to tell you about fucking the girls that you had a crush in high school. And he's going to fucking push that fucking little nerd to the point that he wants to fucking kill himself.
Yeah. He was gonna do that. A dickhead.
The good-looking dickheads are generally the ones who do it, but it's not always a good-looking dickhead. Sometimes it's a dude he thinks that, oh, well, that guy is unpopular and everybody picks on him, so it's no big deal. If I pick on him, then that's my ticket to being cool.
Yeah.
That little dork, he doesn't want to have a fucking big nose and a fucking receding hairline, or he doesn't want to be fucking splotchy where part of his skin is, looking like it was sun peeled and the other part is dark, or, he's got a fucking tattoo that goes halfway across his face. And, people look at him and they go, hey, he looks like a rapist. He looks like a child molester. You probably have to tie a stake around your neck for the dog to play with you. And you get that your whole life. And then because, you're trying to avoid people because you get sick of people doing that to you, you get the, oh, you're probably going to be a serial killer. You're a fucking recluse. You're a fucking hermit.
Yeah.
That little dork just wants to stay away from everybody.
Yeah.
And most of those guys, they don't want to deal with that or have that going on. They're uncomfortable with it. But then again, there's a popularity and pecking order that you got to try to keep in place. You sure? You heard that scream, right?
Not.
Well, did you hear that scream?
No.
Yeah? Better safe than sorry. Do what? Here, let me get closer so I can hear you.
fall.
The Fall.
Yeah.
What's the song called?
What's it called? How to Save a Life.
How to Save a Life. Yeah, I heard it.
It's like he's praying, isn't it? He's like praying to God.
Fucked if I know. If you praying to God, it's already too late.
Right.
See, that's one of the things about when you learn about someone being suicidal versus them committing suicide. When somebody is suicidal, people blow them off. They tell them, oh, well, you're just seeking attention. But then, of course, after you're dead, you know, people go, oh, I wish I'd have seen it coming. I've been exhibiting signs of extreme trauma for 7 years now, and my friends just want to pretend like that's crazy man stuff. But if a woman does it, it's fine. If a woman does it repeatedly, it's fine. But that also does depend on the looks of it. If she's pretty,
It's psychopathy, because I think you're looking at it as a sign of weakness because you.
no, I'm not seeing it as a sign of weakness. I'm seeing the world that I live in as a sign of reality. See, here's the thing, all right? Let's take, for example, like Amy Valkyrie. She's not what you would consider a supermodel or anything near. I personally think that she's equilaterally proportional and she has a decent weight to her. She does. Got good confirmation. Now, here's the thing, is that Amy Valkyrie, if she posts up a picture of her, she is happy if she gets 30 to 50 people who like her picture, right? But with Natalie Bollinger, she wasn't happy unless she got 200 to 300 at least. And her sister Alicia Bollinger, who is her twin, wasn't happy unless she got 1,000 or more. And Natalie used to mention that, you know, people like my sister's pictures more and stuff like that. They used to compete with selfies, and a lot of women are competitive like that. But we're taught that men are the competitive ones. Men are the violent ones. Statistics show differently. And then there's also the fact that TikTok and YouTube and a lot of these, we call them fakers, you know, women who they've got the OnlyFans account and they get on there in the Playboy bunny outfit and show off the little tushy and get in some sexually suggestive poses, and you pay a certain amount of money and you get to see their pictures, right? Well then, you know, 3 of these women who have gone to the gyms to try to film men being perverts, they're trying to troll for something they can play victim as. Oh, feral. Well, after that girl made that, and then people found out she had a OnlyFans thing, they're like, see, here you are, you're literally projecting sex at men for money. That is literally what you are doing. So while you're putting sexually suggestive pictures of yourself on the internet for money, you're doing this yourself to try to make money from a certain type of man. There are certain types of men who will get on there and they will pay for that. And there are certain types of men who are like, I don't care enough about sex to pay to fucking see you in a tight outfit or no outfit at all. I'm certainly not going to pay $800 a month is what the one in the Playboy bunny outfit wanted for her OnlyFans account. I'm not going to pay that. That's not to say somebody won't. But if you're going to do that and then you're going to go to the gym and you're going to troll for pretending like you are some innocent victim, you get all sorts of attention, all sorts of publicity if it goes right. If it goes wrong, you just say you're sorry and it's forgiven. But here's the thing, she's not the only one who did it. There's a lot of women who do that. They try to sell the image of sex. The ones who are the most successful are the ones who are blonde-haired and blue-eyed and show as much form and figure as they can. You're literally trying to sell the image of sex, and then those are the kind of men who are attracted to your site is people who are after sex. And then if you're paranoid when you go to the gym or people are trying to work out, that everybody in there is watching your OnlyFans account and they all want to rape you and that's what they're at the fucking gym for, you're nuts. And if you're going to go to the gym and try to set that up and then play it like he's horrible and you get busted doing it, you deserve to get busted playing like that. I've busted a lot of people playing like that, like I'm a horrible person. But when you bust them, that's when they get really outright evil. Then that's when it's the, oh my God, nobody listen to him. He's slandering my name. Nobody listen to him. He's crazy. He's crazy. Don't listen to him. Nobody listen to him. Look at this over here. Look at this over here. Don't listen to him. He's crazy. He's mentally ill. Don't listen to him. He's on drugs. I'm like, holy shit. Meanwhile, I've got recordings that are fucking older than that, where they're admitting to being fucking drug addicts and drug salesmen. I'm like, please don't do that. You've already admitted that I don't do drugs, that I've never done drugs with you, and so on and so forth. And now you're going to call me a druggie after admitting that you do a bunch of drugs. Yeah, I have it recorded already. What are you doing calling me a slanderer? You know, like with you, you know that it's recorded. It would be like if you were to come to me later on and say, dude, you slandered my name by saying that I do drugs. I'm like, you slandered yourself. You said it knowingly and willingly and intelligently. You didn't say it maliciously to hurt me, and you didn't say it, you know, sarcastically. You said it because it's something that is a part of your life and you admit it. And most people can't even do that. Most people, once they realize that somebody else might have heard it, they're like, oh my God, I better hide it. I better go hide in the dumpster. But how are you going to get help if you hide in the dumpster?
The pink little splashes were good. I don't really know.
Yeah, I was looking at that. It looked kind of like Pepto-Bismol, but...
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Or maybe a milkshake or something. Strawberry or cherry. Alright, I better get back to my car and start charging up my phone before it dies.
Alright. I don't know what I'm doing now.
Well, I hope the cane helps you. When you're done with the food, please take it with you, or at least toss your garbage and make sure that it's not going to make it unsightly. All right.
Do you drink those Monster Java ones?
Oh, I do. I got 2 of them in my car right now.
Good. Just check.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to walk up to you and call you in the store to buy what you do, but you get them.
Well, I wanted to put 2 of them in there.
Yeah, I drink them. They're good.
Oh, okay, good.
They're delicious. They're so good.
Yeah. I think some of your stuff is still on my car. If I get messed with by the cops, yes, sir. Hello, Huddersfield. Thank you. And thank you for not grabbing my ass.
I had a buddy of mine, he's gay. And I saw him in Portland, which was crazy. He's from here. I met him here.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you something, all right? I can't be homophobic. I can't be homophobic. I got a friend who's gay, and I can't be racist. I got a friend who's black.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Did I ever tell you about my token black friend named Tyrone? Every white guy has a token black friend named Tyrone.
Shit, I got a token black friend named Tyrone. I'm just kidding.
Really? Just like as soon as people find out I have Tourette syndrome, they got a story about somebody they know, their friend Twitch. I'm like, why everybody got a friend named Twitch who got Tourette syndrome? God bless America. Absolutely. Well, don't forget to come grab your blanket. It's 9:26, so they close in what, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go back to my car and I'm gonna hope none of them kids mess with me. Yeah, you better. I forgot, we're all supposed to have token gay friends too. That way we're not bigots. Sean?
Yeah, he was like a pretty boy, like just a little bit of rag. But he didn't look.
See, they're trying to make that illegal. I was totally down for putting on a pink dress, braiding up my beard and putting in pink bows in it for LGBT awareness. But then it turns out that really there's just a whole bunch of hateful bigots in that crowd too.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to love them individually.
Yeah. That's cool.
I know that not every black person hates me for the color of my skin. Yeah, I'm stupid. I protect you even if you're dumb. Mostly I try to protect underdogs. I do try to put myself in everybody else's shoes, man, woman, or child, and due to the sheer quantity of shitty goddamn experiences I have had, I'm pretty fucking good at it. He's gonna go hang out at the library, or laundromat. Sorry, I've been interacting with the library a little bit lately. It looks like most of that crowd down there that was in front of O'Reilly's has gone somewhere else for right now. Sometimes you can see them all lining up at the Dutch Brothers Coffee. Like it's weird. It's like a little glowworm of vehicles. And they go from the little parking lot here right across the street to the Dutch Brothers, and then they all come back one at a time. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 of them, and sometimes there's like 10 cars that go up there. Last year there was a couple of nights. I think it's like Friday nights. There's a lot of them. Anyway, one of the things with folks is that I do let them know that I record, and I let them know that I record live, and I do try to let them know that if I'm holding my phone a certain way, then it is a sign that I am recording it. Also, when I put it in my pocket, it's a matter of needing both hands. I don't get why people become addicted because I'm not capable. As far as coffee goes, I could probably quit it in a day or 2. I would jones for it for a little while after that, but it wouldn't be any big major thing. When I quit drinking alcohol, I quit cold turkey, and that was a real bad idea with as much as I drank, but I managed and I survived. And that was right after I turned 21. I stayed drunk pretty much all through high school. Now I drink coffee and I smoke cigarettes. You get to see me walking around and looking for cigarette butts. It's a nasty habit. You know this. I notice patterns. That's where I really excel. When I taught Miss Jerry to draw faces, her mind worked a little bit differently than a lot of people. So I showed her a method that I was taught by Woody Gillette in Child Study and Treatment Center in, I believe, Kent, Washington, Tacoma. It was outside of Tacoma, Washington. And it was a Civil War era fort, but it's in the Pacific Northwest, so no battles fought there. Later on, they turned it into a mental institution for adults. And then they built Child Study and Treatment Center on the parade grounds. And they built Furwood High School there as well. And Furwood High School is specifically for the students from Child Study and Treatment Center. plug this in. I gotta make sure I do that before the phone dies. There's a lot of people that were so fucking twacked out of their goddamn minds that they just didn't pay attention. And then later on wanted to be angry because they wanted me to keep secrets, but too late, you spoke up. It's already recorded, it's already there, and I'm not gonna destroy it. A lot of people were real heavily involved in trying to destroy evidence. A lot of these Natalie Bollinger web sleuth groups really fucking went to town. Oh, man. Maybe I drank that too fast. I do try to be patient, but there are certain things that you need to not be patient with, and you need to be intelligent enough to fucking listen to the goddamn victim instead of being selfish and making it about you. When it's a male, the chances of them getting blown off until they blow their heads off is pretty significant. I try to show people in a non-confrontational way. I try to educate them in a non-confrontational way so that they understand that what they're doing is exactly the behaviors that push people to suicide. But then when I'm in a state of crisis and I have to train people not to be fucking idiots, it's difficult for me when I'm in a state of crisis, especially since it's difficult for me to learn as well. When you're stuck in survival, well, survival mode is what matters. That's what's significant and in the moment. And when you're stuck in that constant state of survival, your mind does different things. When you get stuck in that permanent state, you do start to give yourself brain damage. And a constant state of fear will do the same thing. That's one of the problems with me not being willing to kill people, is that there's a lot of these folks who are really bad people, and I know that the world would be better off without them, but it's not my place to do it. And a lot of people who are Christian who want to say that it's not my place to do it, what's the first thing they say they'd do if somebody messed with their family? Well, it seems to me that Christians are the people most likely to be buying guns, because most of the Christians that I know are gun toters. There's a lot of KKK members that, and I'm not sure if you knew this, it's supposed to be a Christian organization. The KKK, no joke. Well, I got a question for you. Does that make what the KKK has done for many years okay? No, it doesn't. How about the new, cleaner KKK? The ones who aren't out to destroy black people anymore. They just want to have rights for themselves now. Well, I can get that. I can understand that. But see, here's the thing, is that you're affiliating with yourself with a group that is already known to be, well, you know their reputation. Why would you want to join a group like that with that reputation? That's the same way I feel about BLM, though. If you're really about your rights and your people, then let's work together to stop the corruption. Let's work together. I don't want to work with the KKK. I don't like their image, but it's not just their image. It's their history. When you want to say don't live in the past, or you got to forgive and forget, are you guys going to forgive and forget the KKK? Are you ever? Are you ever going to forgive and forget Nazis? Not likely. There are certain things that you're just not going to forget. If you're going to ally yourself with people who have very bad reputations, unless you have no choice, it don't make no sense to me. United States soldiers do not have a recent history of actually defending or protecting the American people. They've got a long history of literally occupying the entire planet. We have the entire planet held hostage. Everybody basically sits at standstill unless the United States and Russia let it happen. The biggest fuck up of all, though, was that Russia fucking capitulated. The Soviet Union capitulated in 1989. They gave up. Why did we have to bring back the Cold War by repeatedly trying to threaten Russia with nuclear weapons? See, that's something that you guys don't want to pay attention to. For about 30 years there, Russia could hit the United States, the northern portions at least, parts of Canada, with some of their ballistic missiles. But America had a lead in having nukes and the ability to take them to Russia, the ability to drop them, the range, all of that. We had the lead for a long time on that. Even though Russia made it into outer space first, several times, they lagged behind on the missile technology. And their original missiles, their original space flight was done with the same stuff that Americans did it with. It was done with leftover World War II German rockets. There was a pretty big mad scramble between the United States, the United States, Russia, and Great Britain for a lot of that stuff at the end of the war. You know, basically it was every man for himself and every prize go to the victor. There was a few of them that were agreed upon that would be split up. Like there was several Type 21 U-boats, and the United States got one, Great Britain got one, and Russia got one, and later on one of them was returned. The others, I believe, were scrapped, but I don't know that for certain. I just really like history. Helps me to occupy my mind. Alright, so this guy's been over there for about 20 minutes with his lights on, so I figure I'll point it over there. Those lights right there. Probably just somebody warming up. Obviously, I'm not out here being evil to these folks in person. In person, I want them to live. I want them to survive. I don't want them to die. I don't want them to starve. And if something goes down, I'm going to do my best to record it to keep them safe, myself safe, and everyone else around me safe. I don't just record for my safety. If people are going to be on drugs, I'd like for them to be on drugs not in public. I do have to say something positive for the drug addicts here in Oregon versus the ones in Washington State. There's a lot of places in Washington State where you can't walk anywhere off of the beaten path without stepping on a lot of fucking needles. A lot of needles. And here, at least the addicts are able to keep that cleaned up and keep it to the sharps boxes, and there are places that are provided so they can do that. I don't know where any of the drop spots are because I don't use needles. It should be obvious by now that I'm not some fucking filthy goddamn druggie out here trying to destroy lives. But also, when a man starts having extreme PTSD and starts having flashbacks, there's a lot of shit that goes along with that it takes family and friends who know you. When you have to go in and get a diagnosis with a mental illness, if your friends and family are there with you and you get to see your own doctor and they help to explain the situation, the doctors usually do the right thing. And that's something that you guys won't fucking listen to. Now, one of the problems with a lot of these junkies, the problem is that all of their friends were junkies, just like mine. And junkies are afraid of going to the hospital. They're afraid of going to the police because they're afraid that they're going to get in trouble for being on junk. Or they're too fucking when they're not on junk. So if they're not on the junk, they want to get a fix before they go in. And then if they get their fix before they go in, they don't want to go in because they're paranoid, because they're fucked up and they don't want anybody to know it. Oh, that person who had their lights on turned them off. Must have found whatever they were digging for. Maybe they were texting family or something and forgot to turn their lights off. Maybe it's a modern vehicle that if it's on and it's after dark, it's automatically going to turn on the lights. I don't know. One thing that I did learn to do, I can make videos and make them so that they're unlisted. And then if somebody does something stupid, then I can make it listed. That way, those youngins, if they want to pull stuff like they were doing last night, which is drive around my vehicle as soon as I turned off the camera. Well, that didn't work entirely for them because it was pretty loud and I did have my audio recording device going, but you know how long that takes to download something. And without having a place to do it, and without having the physical ability to really handle that stuff myself, it's not like it's a choice in not being able to do it. When you stand up to local rednecks, they generally do tend to stick together and make your life suck. They're locals and you're not. For me, growing up all over the place my entire life, a lot of people who have lived in a place their entire life think that they're entitled and own everything there just by right if they've lived there longer. Well, I don't give a shit. When I moved to Chapel, Nebraska, Brandon Jepson, he didn't like most of the kids that he went to school with. That's why he and I were friends. Most of those kids he'd grown up with his entire life and realized they were fucking cantankerous goddamn rednecks. They were ignorant as fuck. And they were bullies. Brandon Jepson, though, he was a bully too. There was a period of time there where he realized that there was a lot of girls in high school who had a crush on him, and he got a big fucking head, and he was a fucking dick. And he said to me, you know what, Sean, If they were doing that to you, you'd ditch me too. I can't say he's wrong because I've never been that guy. Maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. I do know that a lot of the people that I've known in my lifetime that have gone from not being good looking to being really good looking. I'm going to give you an example. Jamie Curtis, a lot of people made fun of her because she had a big old gap between her teeth. They were cruel as hell. And they just kept it up and kept it up and kept it up until she wanted her life to end because people were fucking picking on her about her teeth. And she got braces and her teeth were straight. And that was the only thing wrong with her aesthetically. She also developed assets in a way that, what's the term, voluptuous, I guess, curvy. And, she was definitely somebody that a lot of people wanted to talk about. And for me, it was different. She was somebody that I had known since she had her teeth, before she had her teeth fixed. And she was somebody who was nice to me. But when you know somebody when they're that young, it's hard to think of them as anything other than a kid, even if they're 30 years old. Like, even today, I have problems thinking of Jamie, who her son is almost an adult now, you know? Her son is almost an adult now. She's in her 30s, and I still have problems thinking of her as anything other than a kid. It weirds me out. It grosses me out. And when she wanted to pressure me to have sex with her, trying to explain to her how disgusting that was to me was just, how do you tell a woman that the thought of having sex with her is gross without her taking it as a fucking personal insult? That has been one of the issues my entire life, is that I don't want her to feel like I don't want her to feel like she's ugly just because I'm not interested in, well, you probably get it. Oh. Anyway, if they're watching this now and being dickheads, which maybe they are, maybe they're not. I've had people fuck with me that were in the same parking lot and watching my YouTube channel while texting with me. Case in point, Dallas Palmer here, his friend Nick, and there's actually a lot of people here for a few of those nights. I can't remember all of their names, but Dallas knows them all, which makes it pretty easy. He was there for at least one of those situations with Molly. But you also see with Molly how me having to talk to the cops by myself, even with all those witnesses that were there, it was like pulling teeth getting them to go in with me, even though they said they would. We were able to make the recordings so that hopefully that would make it easier, but with me not having a place to process it and having to keep on record and being stuck in places where it's too loud to concentrate, especially for somebody who's in a state of crisis. That state of crisis is made by me not having access to my support network. And you guys who want to be a fucking dickhead to me about the support network thing or the safe place thing, you know what? That is one of the most crucial things about helping somebody to recover from a situation like this. A safe environment where they're not going to be judged, they're not going to be talked down to, talked over, or treated disrespectfully. When I start yelling, one of two things has happened. One, there's a bunch of fucking noise going on, such as trucks or music in the background, plus the machines and the grinder and fucking Starbucks and things like that. or I am frustrated with trying to start over from the very beginning. Because when people want to tell me that they'll help and then they procrastinate and blow me off, I don't send them anymore. I just post it publicly. If you give a shit, you can look. If you don't give a shit, go away. I'm not here for your entertainment. I'm here to save lives. I don't want to be here anymore, but I understand the difference. Between talking about change and actually doing something about it. I do try to lead by example. If there's something fucked up going down, I'm gonna pull out my camera. If there's physical violence going down, I'm gonna fucking yell and bring attention to the situation. Luckily, through most of this, I've been able to get through it without physical altercations towards myself, but not entirely, of course. When you draw attention away from the victim, you draw that attention, that anger, and that aggression onto yourself. Anyway, I'm gonna lock the door. I'm gonna turn off this video, and then I'm gonna make one unlisted. Hopefully, with them knowing that it's unlisted, we'll be able to see if them youngins in the parking lot here or wait until I turn off a video to do that, or if who knows. I might just be paranoid because they were cruising around my vehicle last night and just happened to get the timing right, but it's aggravating. If you don't have it recording 24/7, you never know when somebody's gonna start shit right after you fucking lay down to go to sleep, you know? Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and your sister's, and no victim left behind. Regardless of religion, regardless of skin color, regardless of gender. We're all people. As long as you're not taking advantage of kids, well, as long as you're not taking advantage of at-risk peoples. I should say, oh, that's that. I guess they didn't arrest those kids. That's the ones in the red vehicle from the library. Their names are on my channel, by the way. The situation at the library is recorded. I didn't get the very beginning of it because I wasn't expecting it to happen. But I'm always expecting that something could happen at any point in time. You never know when somebody's just going to be a fucking dick because you're easy to victimize and they know it. Anyway, I do not expect Lori to call me back. I don't expect her to keep her word. She rarely does, and when she does, I have to be patient to the point that it's really a waste of my fucking time to bother with her because she's just not going to give a shit.